Hey there, fellow classic comic collectors. As always, I'm Scott Harris King, and today, believe it or not, I've got even more Barbie comics. Yes, in fact, I got so many Barbie comics that it's actually time for a quest. Now, it's been quite a while. Longtime viewers of my channel will know what this means. I know a lot of you have been waiting a long time to see the absolutely terrible Time for a Quest graphic that comes up. So, without further ado, here it is.
It's time for a quest!
Alright, so what does that mean? Well, when I get down to less than 10 issues to go to complete one of my complete runs, I start a quest to fill in those last 10 issues. Now, you may remember that just a couple weeks ago, I was out at a comic show and I bought a big pile of Barbies that I showed in a previous video. After I got that, I organized my comics as well as I could at the moment. A little bit more on that in a second. And finally made a checklist. Finally made a Barbie checklist. Now, Barbie has two different series. There's regular Barbie and there's Barbie Fashion. This is not Barbie Fashion. It's just the regular series. It ran for 63 issues from Marvel Comics 1991 to 96. And after that convention, I was missing 17 or 18. The question being, there was an issue that I'm pretty sure I have, but as I've mentioned a few times recently, I injured my back. I can't actually go through any of my back issues. So I can't go through my boxes. I can't go through the piles of stuff that's sort of unsorted all over my office. And I'm almost positive that one of those issues I had gotten at a comic show a few months ago and hadn't added to the rest of my Barbies. So I'll have a little bit more about that at the end. But basically I was missing, I think 17 issues of Barbie. And I just got in a whole bunch, enough so that we're under 10 issues to go. In fact, I only need one issue of Barbie after the pile I'm going to show you. Basically what happened is I got some doubles at the show last time, and I was looking up a couple of them online to see that I thought might be worth something. I was just checking on eBay and accidentally found a listing on eBay for a big lot of Barbies. I could see that it had some of the ones I needed, but there were so many and they were all jumbled and in no particular order. The listing didn't really list them in order. It's hard for me to tell without too much thinking what they were. So I decided it was a really good deal, so I just bought the whole lot. Now I just got them in and I sorted through them and discovered that they had in that lot almost everything that I needed to finish my collection. So let me show you this pile of Barbies, and then at the end I'm going to talk a little bit about what's left for the collection. So I'm really excited to get these issues in, starting with number 2. Now the early issues in this run that I just got are really beat up, and then the later they go, the nicer condition. So I have the sense that this was a collection that some kid probably started getting when they were very young, and then by the time the series ended, they were older and were taking better care of them, because these first two are in really rough shape. But I love this cover for issue 2. You can see it's a newsstand issue 2. It's got this great winter scene with Ken and Barbie taking a sleigh ride. Great cover. So I really dig that. That's the kind of content that I like on my Barbie covers. These sort of wholesome Americana, things like that. So that's great. Here's issue 3, which is really, really trashed. The cover's detached, rips, tears, split spine. It's just wrecked. But it's got a cool cover, dancing the night away. You can see it's Ken and Barbie here out on the town. I'm trying to get this so there's not so much glare. As with all of these Barbies, it has this intentionally sort of flat graphic design style to everything, kind of like paper dolls. Now these early issues had another interesting design element, which was they have a bar up at the top so that the logo is like half in and half out of the artwork. And I don't know if they did that specifically to try and highlight the logo a little bit. I like frame covers and semi-frame covers, but I don't love this design element. You're going to see it on the next few covers and then they drop it, but a cool cover. In general, I'm not a big fan of the covers that have Ken on them, mainly because he usually looks like an absolute doofus on these covers. But these first couple aren't that bad. Here he is again on issue 6, and again, doesn't look too bad, but still looks kind of doofy. And here's a Top of the Pops cover, and you can see that bar I was talking about here, with them dancing on these records. Issue 8. Now this is an issue that I have had in the past. So one thing that's been a little tricky for me is when I first started buying Barbies, I was only keeping the ones that I really liked the covers for. It wasn't until later that I decided to put together the full run. And somewhere in my office, I have some more issues of Barbie somewhere that I had set aside to get rid of because I didn't like the covers at the time. Some of those I've actually sold, and some of them I haven't, so I don't know which ones are in there. Here's issue 8, again, pretty beat up, and it's got kind of a funny cover where she's apparently has been filming a TV commercial for Jump Jeans. This is the cover that I definitely had a copy of this issue. Whether or not I still have it somewhere, I don't know, because again, because of my back injury, I can't look. At some point in the future, I'll be able to dig and see. For now, I'm going to keep this beat up copy because I'm not sure if I have a nicer copy or not. And the same goes for the next issue. I'm almost positive that I bought a really nice copy of this at a convention last year. And this copy is really beat up and has a detached cover, but I'm 99% sure I have a nice copy somewhere in my stacks. And it's issue 13. I love this cover. It's a great, again, Americana here at this like 50s style diner, drinking a milkshake, giving you a wink. Absolutely great cover. One of my favorites, I think, to be honest. Probably a top 10 in the cover for the series for me. Again, this issue's really beat up. I'm going to keep it for now as a backup until I can verify where my nicer copy is. Because I wouldn't want to get rid of this and then discover that I was just misremembering. But this was the one that was sort of a question mark, where I was like, I either have 17 or 18. Pretty sure I have this one. Here's 14, which has a nice beach conch shell cover. As always, I love the colors on these, even though I'm colorblind. Some great color work going into these Barbies. And these early issues are still pretty beat up. But whatever. Here's 17, which has Barbie and her friends doing like some kind of aerobics routine. There's a number of covers that are kind of like this from I would say the first year and a half. There's kind of these aerobic style, very 80s style, even though we're now into like 92, 93, 92 probably. It's cover dated May 93, so it's the end of 92 for beginning of 93. So it's when the 90s still felt kind of like the 80s. So again, these are ones that previously I hadn't really been highlighting because, or keep looking for my collection because I don't like the covers as much. But I've gotten so close to the full run that I decided to just get all of them. All right, the comics start to get in slightly better shape here. Still not great condition, but here's number 19 with another nice beach cover. Again, it's got Ken looking like a doofus on it. A lot of these have Skipper, Barbie's younger sister, I want to say. I have read some of these, but it goes one ear and out the other in terms of the lore. But so I prefer the covers that just have Barbie on them. Again, it's mainly because Ken looks like a doofus. I will say that Ken really looks like a doll on this cover. The way he's drawn with his head turned, and he's got these sort of coloring on here that makes him look kind of shiny and plasticky. So I'm not sure if that was intentional, but nice surfboard cover. Okay, here's a really cool cover, 21. Really like this cover. Yeah, this is a great cover. Interestingly, you see that they've gone back to that bar up here, which they had dropped. Like the previous issues, we're at the point where we've dropped that, but for some reason they put it back on here. I don't know if they just wanted to break up the monotone color in the background. I think it would have worked better without the bar, but it's a great cover. So this is a really great one. Now, and at this point, whoever was buying these is now getting the direct edition. This one's really trash, but it's another great summer cover. Now, I mean, one thing they were doing here, this is cover dated October, but of course it's coming out like 3 months earlier. So the stories and the covers are done to match the season. So it's going to be summer when you're buying this, so it has summer covers, summer stories. That's something that Archie does a lot as well, but this is a really nice water skiing cover here. I like the clouds, the colors, the motion of the hair. So that's another really cool cover. And then see, we get in, this is cover dated December, so it's coming out like September. And here now we're getting into fall. So here's a nice autumn cover. And keep in mind, this is issue 24, right? Because when we get to a year from now, issue 36, you'll see we have another fall Halloween cover coming up. So I really dig that. You can sort of, again, go through the seasons and stuff with this. So that's a cool cover. Here's a really cool one. Here's a really cool ballerina cover. There's a couple ballerina covers in the run. I could have sworn that I already had this, but when I was looking through my stuff and making my checklist the other day, I didn't find it. So this is another one where maybe I do have another copy, but because there's other ballet covers, I might be misremembering, but it's a really good one. It's a really good one. Yeah, I'm really happy to have this one. Here's issue 30, and we've got Farm Barbie. So here's Barbie on the farm, feeding the cows, talking to the roosters. Which is in direct opposition to the next issue where we have Businesswoman Barbie. Now, if this was like a Christmas Hallmark Channel movie, they would be reversed. We'd start with this one, and then after she learns her lesson about how the small towns are better than big cities, then she would be Farm Barbie. But in this case, they did them in this order. So here's Businesswoman Barbie. All right, here's the issue 36, which is a year from the fall cover, and this is the Halloween cover I was talking about. I was really happy to get this one because it's one that seems to be slightly harder to find than the others because it has this great Halloween theme, but it also has a kid dressed as Spider-Man on the cover. So you can see this copy is really rough. It's got a big tear at the bottom. These were well-loved issues, but it's interesting that towards the end of the run, I'm not going to show you here because they were doubles, but once you get up to the next ones I'm going to show you here, which is a few months after this, the ones start to be in really nice condition. So, but condition aside, a great Halloween cover. Really excited to get this one. And then finally, the last two are 4th of July Barbie here, issue 45 with the fireworks, which is again a nice sort of graphic design. There's a few sort of 4th of July covers if you have the full run and also the Barbie fashion. And I don't like this one quite as much as a couple of the others, but it is still really a really cool cover. And then finally, here's Southwest Barbie, which I really like. I love the colors. You got the paper lanterns. They're having some kind of dance here, some kind of hoedown dance, and the colors in the sky in the background and the sunset and the mountains. But I really love her outfit, the fantastic design and colors on the dress she has there. Really great work here. Now, most of these covers, this one is by Anna Maria Cool. Most of these covers are by Amanda Connor, but this one's by Anna Maria Cool, who started doing a lot of the covers at the end of the run. So, so that's it. That's my Barbie haul. Of the 17 issues that I needed, I'm assuming I already had 13, which I showed you here, just in case. There were 16 of them. So here's where my big quest is. I'm only missing one issue to complete the full run of Barbie. Now this doesn't include Barbie Fashion. Now that ran for 53 issues and I only have about half of them. But for the main Barbie series here, 63 issues, I have 62 of them now. The only one I'm missing is issue 10. So I'll probably just buy that on eBay, and in another haul video at some point in the future, we'll finish that run. Somewhere down the road, I will show you the complete run of Barbie all at once. But considering I just had so many in the last video and so many in this video, I don't want to do that right away because I'll just be showing you the same stuff that I'm showing you now. So we'll wait a little while before we do the full, complete Barbie series. But I'm really excited. The one thing about issue 10 is it's got this like jazzercise cover, whatever, that's got Barbie and Skipper sort of in leotards, and they're lifting like barbells or something, dumbbells, and I might have it already. So the cover looked familiar. It's definitely a cover that if I had gotten that when I first started getting Barbies a couple years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, I would have just put in my to get rid of pile because it wasn't that interesting to me. And so it's possible that I got it at one point and no longer have it, or it's possible that I have it and I just can't find it because I'm not able to go through my stuff. I mean, at this point I have quite a few doubles, so one more is not going to really make a big difference. So I may end up just buying issue 10 on eBay. I haven't looked yet to see. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to find individual issues of Barbie. They do tend to come in lots. They're kind of interchangeable, so I don't know if what I'll see when I go to eBay. But I'll probably do that to finish that run up, and then we'll see that in a future issue. So I'm really excited to finish that quest. And also, before I go, while I'm talking about quests, there's a second quest, and that's my comic book quest, my fantasy comic that I make. I love making comics, and I love epic fantasy, so I've made my own epic fantasy comic, just sort of in the style of stuff like Conan the Barbarian and the Warlord and Red Sonja and all that stuff, the comics that I grew up loving, and Dungeons and Dragons, all the cool fantasy stuff I was into as a kid in the early 80s. Putting it all in my series quest. The link's down below, so if that's the sort of thing you like, please check it out. I think you'll dig it. And there's only like a week left on the campaign, so get it before it's gone. But that's it. Let me know what you think down below. This will probably be the last big batch of Barbies for a while. I haven't even made my Barbie fashion checklist yet, and I know I've got more issues of Barbie fashion bouncing around my comic room somewhere, so I'm hesitant to really buy a lot of Barbie fashion issues because I'm pretty sure I'll end up getting a whole bunch of doubles. But let me know what you think. I'll see you next time.